Welcome to Greenshoe Radio, brought to you by Greenshoe Media Group. I'm your host, Mark Bunting. Our guest today is Michael Lende, President and CEO at Predictiv AI, trading on the TSX Venture Exchange under the ticker symbol PAI. Thanks for joining us today, Michael.
Pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Now, Predictiv AI has two subsidiaries in AI Labs and Weather Telematics, and two main products right now in Thermal Pass and Alert Fleet. Let's start with Thermal Pass, which you launched within the last several months. Can you describe what it is and what it does?
Yes, Thermal Pass is a touchless fever detection device which has 24 thermal medical grade sensors, 12 that run up each side of it as you pass through and take 1,200 temperature readings per second, and which makes it very accurate. These are the same medical grade sensors technology that are incorporated in industrial thermometers hospitals. And what's great is this technology is not camera based, so it does not infringe on anyone's privacy, maintaining their anonymity, but still collecting the data of if someone has an elevated temperature or not, and sounds an alarm and a visual red light should someone have a temperature. It's proudly manufactured in Canada, and our Thermal Pass has been selling into schools, prisons, and hospitals, into the States and some parts of Canada.
Now, Michael, in terms of the orders you've had, in terms of feedback and sales channels and so on, what do investors need to know about tempering their enthusiasm, just understanding the process here in what you're doing with Thermal Pass?
Sure. The same as any company I've run over the last 25 years. It does require some time to build the proper sales channel distribution network. And this is actually one of the quickest processes I've ever been through. Part of that is because our chairman of the board, Jim Grimes, is one of the original senior executives that made Cisco Technology what it is today in terms of their sales channel partnership programs. So we've got an incredible mentor and guiding light as an advisor to me and to our joint venture partner. And so what we've been focusing on after we sold our initial 70 units to various different kinds of businesses and organizations and government, we decided that, look, we are an AI company and we are best at remaining such and always trying to improve our technology and work on new technologies. And you know what? We're going to go after sales channels that have existing distribution, existing clients. We've had TFG and the likes of MCL, who've been around since 1973. I mean, these groups are selling and have been for many years, since I was a kid, to incredible names, whether it be Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment, or whether it be the TTC or the Toronto District School Board or Best Buy in the case of TFG or Home Depot. They've got big names that they have as clients, and they're introducing us now into those client networks so that we can have the opportunity of having our Thermal Pass sold to their networks. And that takes a couple of months. And we're signing these deals now with these different firms. And each week you've been seeing new announcements coming out about these special sales channel partner distribution relationships. And that's really what I want to convey to the investors is that, if you give us the next, 30 to 60 days, you're going to see some things start to evolve in terms of sales momentum that you haven't seen yet before with this company. And you get into 90 days, you're going to be looking at even more volume. So we're looking forward to announcing the same type of volume sales accomplishments that our investors are. And I know everybody wants to hear about sales, and we're doing all the right things, setting up the correct infrastructure right now with the best in class of sales channel partners so that we do have those announcements coming down the pipe.
All right, so Thermal Pass is proprietary technology to Predictiv AI. What makes it superior to what your competitors offer?
So the biggest distinctive competencies which a lot of people have noted and seen in our video taken at an NFL game where 7,000 fans pass through, is how we can have 60 people per minute go through the device. There's no slowing down, there's no stopping, and you just keep rolling. And it's very accurate, of course, with its medical grade sensors that are taking 1,200 temperature measurements per second. And so you can have someone literally single file behind me, 1 second behind me, and he or she can go through, and they can go through. It's pretty quick. Also, a big distinctive competency is because we are not camera based, and many camera based solutions are not being accepted in the States and Canada because it's an interference with it's interfering with people's privacy and their comfort level. We don't have those issues. So those are two big distinctive qualities. Another one is in our price range, in our caliber of what we're doing, not only because we're made in Canada, and we've been able to accomplish this, is a great accomplishment in and of itself to keep the price down. But we're in the U.S. price range of around $8,000 and Canadian between 9 and 10 per unit, whereas our competitors are in the 13,000 US to $14,000 US price range. So we fare pretty well. Plus, we also offer financing in Canada and the United States so that you can finance these. And for $300 to $500 a month, how can you not afford to protect your employees? How can you not afford to make it a safer environment, mitigating the spread of contagions by identifying the number one symptom, which is a fever, as we're told by Health Canada. So our distinctive competencies are various, amongst which very easily comes apart in three pieces. It's very light, it's 55 pounds, and can assemble in 10 minutes and disassemble in 10 minutes. You can use Wi-Fi connectivity. You don't have to have somebody attached to it and sitting there. We have various scenarios where in the prisons, we have it set up with a USB cable direct to the unit, whereas in an office building in Quebec City, we have someone on the third floor who's a receptionist who has the screen in front of her looking at the dashboard to see what's happening with the unit. At the same time, the unit's on the first floor in front of the elevator. So there's all kinds of integration possibilities as well. If someone has technology already in place, software, they would like our data to lay over top of theirs. And the best example I give is someone's going to go to a hockey game or a baseball game and they scan your ticket. Where that data goes, if they want our data to integrate, go with it, that's entirely possible as well. So lots of distinctive competencies.
That's interesting. Now, Michael, what would you say roughly is the total addressable market here for thermal pass? And ideally, what kind of market share, and realistically, what kind of market share do you think you can carve out over the next, say, few years?
Sure. So, I mean, the total thermal pass addressable market is about $750 million through retail stores, pharmacies, grocery stores, U.S. government buildings. There's all kinds of, in education and as well, long-term care. So there's like 750 million in there. That's an addressable market. And I can tell you, and this is an interesting statistic from Yole Development from June, where the industry indicators for thermal imaging will be at $7.6 billion as a market, up 76% since 2019, which was obviously pre-COVID. So, they're forecasting a $4.5 billion market, 8% year-over-year growth. So obviously, what's happened here is not just that COVID is the driving force behind coming up with mitigating resources to stop the spread of contagions, but let's say that COVID's gone at some point, and hopefully, God willing, soon, okay, and things go back to some kind of normal. The focus groups that we've worked with psychiatrists, psychologists, different medical experts in mental health and and social workers tells us that because of what's happened with COVID over the last year, a lot of mitigating um, security and health measures that have been put in place will long outlast COVID for years because our psyche has changed. Our trepidation in going to a public space like a mall or a theater, our feeling and apprehension about shaking someone's hands or getting close to somebody, everything's changed. And if you look at 9/11, 20 years ago, happened, and there are still security measures in place because of it. I believe that 15, 20 years from now, there'll be health measures in place because of what's happened this year. And it won't be COVID, probably. It'll be something else. It could be the flu. It could be whatever uh, uh, disease or virus or whatever it is, infection is identifiable through a fever. And we're always trying to gain the next notch and improvement in our technology. So we're going to be there right alongside with it.
Michael, let's switch to Alert Fleet. And this is a product in keeping with your company's name, Predictiv AI, in that it's predictive technology. So describe this and how does it work?
I just love talking about Alert Fleet. It's taken a quiet backseat for now because of thermal pass and its prevalence and relevance to what's going on with COVID. But I'll tell you this, Alert Fleet is a very exciting product that has a separate team. It's really defining predictive AI. So quite simply, you're driving in a car and there's an app on the handheld device that's mounted on your front dash, just a magnet or clip or however these days, and it comes up and it tells you 200 meters ahead is black ice, or 200 meters ahead is hydroplaning, or whatever the case might be. Now, what's that worth to somebody? Well, I'll tell you something. After speaking with multiple insurance companies and after speaking with different fleets, it's worth a lot because it keeps trucks on the road, which means they're making money. It stops accidents from happening and fatalities, and allows for insurance premiums to be lower and for deductibles to be lower and out-of-pocket expenses to be lower. And so there's a big opportunity, I think, in our initial investigation and work on this with different fleets, different GPS companies, different softwares that are out there that we are working with and talking with right now about incorporating our solution because ours is proprietary. We have over 10 years and over 100 million miles of proprietary data collected. And we have done POCs with huge OEMs in Germany. And we know that we have something very unique that a lot of different groups want. And we're going through the process right now of vetting out these different groups to see what we're going to do with this. But it's looking very exciting with options to work with insurance companies, options to work with fleets, and GPS and software company solutions that are already providing those fleets with solutions that want to up their game and add our value proposition to their solution. So I'm very excited about this, and it's particularly in the northern United States and Canada, where weather is a major issue. Although, as of this week, even Texas got snow. So
Right, right.
there's there's a lot of crazy weather going on. But we do have some very proprietary data that has been around for a while. And when I came into the company 9 months ago, I tell you, it hadn't been monetized or branded. And check out alertfleet.com. Alertfleet.com is the new brand for what we have, our technology that we're actively going out there right now and selling. And I expect to have some updates for the public in terms of sales within the next 4 to 5 weeks.
Now, re-sales, as with ThermalPass, you're partnering with other groups, specifically in-field solutions. And you've said that you've been able to accelerate sales and basically pull forward business. So what kind of traction are you getting with this partnership for Alert Fleet?
Infield Solutions is an amazing company with an incredible history. And what they have done is introduce us to a bunch of different potential customers down the line. And that's what we're going through the process of vetting out. And they have been unbelievable in over the last couple of months in introducing us to several different potential groups. So we're making some decisions now about who we want to be when we grow up in terms of who do we want to partner with, how do we want to position ourselves, but the same sort of strategies applying as in ThermalPass, where we want to associate ourselves with the best sales channel partners who already have this. They could skip us ahead and fast track in 6 months because they already have these customers in place that they could sell us into. So Infield's been wonderful in introducing us to a whole network of people, and part of that is going to be resulting in future sales for Alert Fleet. That's where we're headed.
Michael, you were appointed as CEO of Predictiv AI less than a year ago. You've brought in some key people. You're ramping up sales, which you're talking about. It sounds like it's kind of early days to give hard numbers, and you've asked investors to be patient. But how does that translate into revenue growth and the bottom line eventually?
So I mean, the point is that we want to create as much volume sales as possible. And you know, the groups that we're speaking with have the ability where one of their clients can order 100, 200 at a time. You know, like an order of 200 thermal passes is $2 million worth of revenue. So it doesn't take a lot to get some serious revenue and serious sales in place. And we're not going after the onesies and twosies anymore. So the objective of this game is to get as much volume. It's quality versus quantity right now. So to get as much volume from key quality clients and customers as possible throughout the States and Canada. And so, you know, our goals are, to make serious sales in the coming months. And, you know, in terms of hitting targets, you know, what we're doing is we're focusing right now on selling a certain amount of thermal passes by the end of Q1, by the end of Q2, and so on and so forth. And so long as we're hitting those targets or exceeding them, we're happy. But we're still right now we're expecting in March to see some movement as a result of all of these sales channels and what we're doing. And then April even more, and May even more, and June. We want to really, by the end of spring, be able to show a really sweet trajectory in terms of, okay, we can now see how these guys spent November, December, January, February establishing these amazing partnerships, because they're now starting to see through March, April, May, and June how these guys have been able to translate those relationships into serious sales announcements. So the plan is to go from announcing strategic sales channel partnerships, naming the incredible brands that they have as clients, to transitioning to announcing actual sales that happen in volume with those named clients, and very much looking forward to making that transition and providing those announcements and getting people so excited over the sales that we were anticipating.
And lastly, Michael, looking at the stock, last I took a look at it, it was trading around 20 cents a share or so. So do you want to wrap it up with a bow here? You touched on a lot of points there, but wrap it up with a bow here for investors and on the investment case and why they should pay attention to Predictiv AI.
You know, I mean, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not allowed to give out any advice, but I do remain bullish on the sales, especially sales in Alert Fleet and ThermalPass, because of the amount of work that we're putting into. My biggest frustration is I'm not allowed to share different things that are going on until it's public news yet. And I can't, it's not going to be public news until things are finalized. But I can tell you that, you know, there was a nice spike on February 16th to 23.5 cents, and even yesterday is 22.5 cents. I think I think that what people are going to get excited about is some new announcements that are coming out, having to do with very serious U.S. sales channels, and having to do with down the line some announcements that will be about actual sales once we finished doing our job with our sales, not finished, but once we've actually started in on that trajectory with our sales channel partners. And I'm I want to get this. I want to get this. My goal would be to get this penny stock moving 60 cents, 70 cents, 80 cents, up to $1, and then beyond. I'm not spending 7 days a week working on these great products to hover around where we've been. No, sir. I have great expectations for this company and this new team and this great group that we have of unparalleled AI experts and sensor experts and the group that we have as our advisory and guidance. I'm very confident that all of our hard work over the last 9 months is going to pay off in the coming months and soon.
Thanks very much for talking to us today, Michael. We appreciate it, and good luck.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
You've been listening to Greenshoe Radio, brought to you by Greenshoe Media Group. Our guest has been Michael Lende, President and CEO at Predictiv AI, trading on the TSX Venture Exchange under the ticker symbol PAI. Thanks a lot for listening. I'm Mark Bunting. We'll talk to you next time.